Hello, and welcome to Every Day is Funny, the meditative morning show about newspaper comics. And we continue Religious Week, or I guess religious 10 days. Why isn't there like a term for just 10 days? Just as like a nice even number. You got week for 7. You got fortnight for 14? But why is there nothing for just a straight tenor? Alright, I guess we'll call it a straight tenor. This is a continuation of my straight tenor about converting Every Day is Funny the show into the Church of EDIF, a religious movement based on the perks that come with it, and because it's hard to compete with other podcasts. We're on day 7 of the tenor. The 7th commandment. Every day I've been giving a new commandment of the Church of EDIF. Yesterday, I finally got to a biggie that I forgot to get to earlier. Thou shalt read newspaper comics. Today, kind of gets into the moral vibes of the Church of EDIF. The 7th commandment is, thou shalt confess your sins, but don't be afraid to throw in some excuses for them. The Church of EDIF embraces even the most half-assed reasoning for a sin. You woke up on the wrong side of the bed? Completely understand robbing that bank. Just try and give any sort of atonement in any way you can think of so we can all just move on with our lives. You know, on the first day of the pod, I came up with a slogan, life's hard, let's read some comics. And I think this 7th commandment embraces that spirit. Things are tough. Are you really that bad of a person? Let's just move on. That's also why I've decided to come up with an alter ego for all of my mean side. Because see, I was listening to the new Eminem album. And of course he has the alter ego Slim Shady, who he blames for all of his controversial stuff. And I don't get crazy controversial on this show, but I do take meditative aim at things. And it might be nice if down the road, you know, like right now I'm doing something that could be deemed as sacrilegious. I could just blame it on my alter ego and move on, you know what I'm talking about? So I've decided to come up with an alter ego. But I think it's more funny and in the spirit of this podcast if even the alter ego isn't too bad. Like maybe he's a little meaner than me, but overall in the moral grand scale, it's all good. I kind of like that for an alter ego. A little bit worse. So I'm gonna call him, which by the way, I never really say my name on this show. It's Adam Oppenheimer. I'm gonna call my alter ego I'm going to call him, oh man, I just think it's so funny. I'm going to call him Madam Sloppenheimer. Just kind of like a play on my name, changing a few things around, but make him a little messier sounding and kind of opposite vibes. So Madam Sloppenheimer is pretty chill, and he's kind of nervous about doing bad things. He'll like do them begrudgingly because he gets carried away, but he's like not a bad guy at heart. So I wrote down some, not stats, but just traits of Madam Sloppenheimer. His big quote is, I'll be trouble if I need to be. So just kind of clarifying, like, I don't want to be this guy, but if that's my role, you know, I'll do it. His interests are whiting out speech bubbles in comic strips, stealing coupons, because that feels like catering to the newspaper comics crowd, and he still enjoys illegal cable even in the digital age. So like, you know, not a bad guy by any means, but kind of the more villainous counterpart to sweet little Adio that I am, the saint of the Church of EDIF. And the worst crime that Madam Sloppenheimer ever committed was that he knowingly gave someone expired milk in their cereal one time. but it was only expired by like 2 days. I drew a little doodle of Madame Sloppenheimer, which I also thought would be good because I would like to start making my own comics for the pod, but I can't draw for anything. So I'm going to put up this picture of Madame Sloppenheimer on the Instagram. Check him out. He kind of looks like me. He has an EDIF shirt on, but he's crossed out E and I and changed it to IDGF. Like, I don't give a bleep. So you know he's kind of a renegade. Check him out. And if I ever say anything on the show that you don't agree with or take offensively, just remember that might have been Sloppenheimer's doing. Don't blame me. All right, let's move on to the comics. Let's check out some Hi and Lois to start off with. We see Hi golfing with his neighbor. Hi says, "So you finally gave up on that long putter?" The neighbor says, "Yeah, I decided to try something completely different." And he's just using an incredibly short putter, like a child's mini golf club. And he hits the ball. We do not know if it's working out for him because we don't see if the ball goes in or not, which might change the status of the joke. Because if it works, whatever works. The fact that he does things to such extremes, like, he's going with the shortest putter imaginable, makes me think that that long putter they're referring to might have been like a giraffe's height. I don't know if we went back into the archives if we could confirm that, but this guy lives in extremes. He's gonna have back problems. You hate to see it, because he's already kind of out of shape, this guy. And he dresses like a fool. That's not health related, but just another strike against him. But all this bending over. You sometimes wish you could just reach out and warn a cartoon character to change their ways. And you can't. Sometimes you can't help people, you know what I'm talking about? Sometimes you gotta just study from afar. I'm having a silly Saturday. Who knows what's going on? Let's check out Merryworth. Yesterday, I demanded that we go to see what the mother's point of view was in this epic discussion battle between mother and daughter. Wilbur's daughter has come to visit him because she couldn't take it with her mother anymore. And they're having this conversation about how poorly the mother handled things and threw her out, but I am suspicious that it was all the mother's fault. Or maybe the mother has a Madame Sloppenheimer-like alter ego who did it. But let's check out where we're at. Now they're still cleaning up the Chinese meal. I like that this is still part of it, like just the attention to the Chinese food detail. We've seen the stages of them eating it, which is very nice for return viewers. Anyway, they're still talking. Wilbur and his daughter. His daughter says, "How about you, Dad? How did you spend your time while I was in Connecticut?" Wilbur says, "I lost Stellan, and I was pretty broken up about it. I sort of still am." She says, "I'm sorry." He says, "It's okay. Merryworth arranged a lovely wake with neighbors and a burial at sea for him. Our friends saved me." Okay, so if I was the daughter here, I would be taking like classic cartoonish steps back. Like, maybe I shouldn't be here either. She knows how important Stellan... First of all, she knows who Stellan is. If I was talking to my parent and they were just said a name, I get Stellan's kind of a unusual name, but I don't think we know people who, if they said the first name of their goldfish, you would immediately know what they're talking about and be like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." But maybe that's just me. I don't know. I also like that he calls her Merryworth, like gives the full name. If they're close enough where she's arranging burials at sea, they gotta be close enough where you can just say Mary and know who we're referring to, right? Our friends saved me. Also, who says a lovely wake with neighbors? I don't know. This whole maybe this is just a family I'm not quite understanding as a whole. The mom's throwing kids out without much discussion. The dad is grieving over goldfish deaths and saying it, and everyone knows what he's talking about just by the first name alone. And this kid is probably like what am I in the middle of? Like, what is my family scheme? Like, am I gonna be all right? You probably start to think internally about nature and nurture and be like, maybe I gotta disappear for a while, make a fresh new start in Arkansas or something. If I heard someone say my friend saved me by hosting a burial at sea for my goldfish and I was staying with this person, maybe I'd stay in the house for the night. I would lock the door. Most definitely I would lock the door. Because we already saw that he has another goldfish too. Like, what's going on, man? Oh. Alright. Rex Morgan MD time. Yesterday, we were still visiting Parker in the hospital after they got punched by the bully, but we were talking with Judy, Parker's aunt, and Corey's dad. I thought Judy was coming on to Corey's dad by complimenting him, and Corey's dad was just saying like, yeah, whatever, kids shouldn't be picked on. Let's see where we're at today. Wow. Headline across town. We are seeing, big moment here. We are back in the house with the bully and his dad. Before I read on and look at what's being said, the dad had received a call from the principal of the school telling him about the incident, and the dad, who is clearly an alcoholic, I have some confusion, which I'll get to in the image here, but the dad was saying before he saw his kid, basically like, I'm gonna harm this child as soon as I see him, and now this meeting is happening. The dad says, "What's this garbage I hear about you putting some kid in the hospital?" The bully says, "I didn't mean to hit him that hard, Dad, I'm sorry." His dad says, "I don't care about the other kid, but you let yourself get caught. Never do that sort of stuff with witnesses around, you little dope." All right. Well, this is great. I'm glad we moved on from the hospital, or at least like gotten away from it for a second. I love how cartoon character this dad is in how he's raising his kid. Not only is he like not really caring about it, but he's just so outright and saying like, do whatever you want, dude. Don't get caught. I flat out don't care about the other child. I kind of appreciate the honesty. This guy is Madame Sloppenheimer to an nth degree. This guy is just like embracing his evilness, which is kind of respectful. I know he's an abusive dad and that's not respectful, but there's aspects. What I don't get is the bottle of alcohol that he threw and crashed to the floor just a few moments before this took place is now sitting perfectly fine on the couch, unless he had a second bottle of alcohol. But even that is like a little too archetype. Like one full handle, that's enough to sell his vibe. You don't need to like have him surround himself with alcohol bottles that are not even normal beer bottles, but like big jugs. I will say, to the bully's defense, he didn't really get caught yet. He could still like flee town. He got caught in the idea of getting caught, in that people know he did it. But in the physical aspect of getting caught, there's still a ways to go. I wonder if the dad's gonna be like, you gotta leave town. Like, what is the dad's move gonna be? Or now he has another bottle to throw at him, so that could be the move. It's also funny how much they look like each other with the hairstyle and everything. Like, this is just classic bad dad. I would think this dad would like be a little proud that he put someone in the hospital. You know, it feels like the kind of guy that's like, damn it, I hate you, kid, and I hate that I have to like be responsible for this, but if I don't respect you a little for showing your might. That'd be the Madame Sloppenheimer thing to say. Alright, let me think of what to comment. Alright, I'm gonna say, after the dad says, you don't get caught, that's all you gotta do. My comment's gonna be from the point of view of the principal in the school on the phone. Bully's dad, you forgot to hang up. And then Bully's dad going, like I said, sometimes you get caught. That poor kid in the hospital. Send. Alright. Time to wind down for this Saturday, July 13th. I hope you have a wonderful start to your weekend or continuation of such. Remember that everything's going to be fine. There's a Madame Sloppenheimer in all of us. Life's hard, read some comics. And just remember, every day is funny.